Hi, my name is Mia, and I'll be talking today about Inuit food culture. Now, as you can see on this map, the Inuit tend to inhabit the Arctic areas, the Arctic coasts in areas such as Russia, Canada, Alaska, and Greenland, the areas that are highlighted in gray on this map. Now, this location tends to affect the food that they can hunt and gather. They consume what they call country food, which is food that they hunt and gather themselves. In terms of hunting, they consume a lot of marine life, such as Arctic char, as you can see in the picture in the bottom right. They gather shellfish, they consume whale and seals. The top picture is of muktuk, which is whale blubber, which I'll talk about on the next slide. They also hunt for land animals such as ducks, snow geese. They gather bird eggs, polar bear, caribou, muskox. These are all animals that they hunt for and consume. And this hunting practice is a big part of their culture. They practice passing down the hunting traditions through generations. And in keeping this practice alive, it helps keep their culture alive. They also do some gathering of roots and berries and kelp, though not as much because these are not as prominent in the Arctic region that they live in. Now, in terms of food preparation, there are many different ways that the Inuit people prepare food. It depends a lot on preference and the region. But some common ways are dried, frozen, boiled, fermented, fried, or even eaten raw. The game is eaten raw sometimes. As you can see in the picture, it is of a piece of frozen char and some seal bones that are consumed. And there's also a curved knife that is called an ulu knife. And it's generally used by women, and it's used to cut the skin, to butcher animals, and it can also be used as an eating utensil. We talked about muktuk on the previous slide. It is whale skin with the blubber, and it's served raw. Generally, it's frozen solid and then cut into pieces with the ulu knife, and then consumed just like that. It is the most commonly known food outside of the Inuit community that people know that the Inuit eat. So it's common for adventurous food eaters to go out of their way to try muktuk at least once in their life. And the Inuit also have a practice of using all of the leftover parts of an animal, not just the food. The hides and furs are used for clothing, the bones are used for tools, and anything that they aren't personally using, they sell, and that makes up the majority of their income. Let's talk a little bit of food etiquette. So food sharing is a really large part of Inuit culture. They have a large practice of having community feasts. So anytime someone in the community has a large catch, it's generally shared throughout the community so that no one goes hungry. So in this picture, someone in this community has caught a large animal, and they've cut it up into pieces, and the feast, they lay out all the pieces, and everyone from the community is welcome to come and take as much as they need to make sure that their family is fed. This also happens at a small scale. For example, I read a story about a family that had a practice of making large breakfasts, inviting people from their close community, and their neighbors, their family, and they always had extra food for anyone that needed a hearty meal in the morning. And part of this comes from a history of starvation, which is fairly common in most hunting gathering societies, but it leads to this culture of sharing, which is really important to the Inuit people. Now, a little bit about the health impacts of a traditional diet. So this diet is designed for living in the Arctic. The animal fat is very important. It helps the Inuit people keep their energy up for long days in the cold of the Arctic. So they tend to avoid lean animals such as rabbits, as they historically have led to starvation. They don't have enough nutrients in the meat to sustain a person. There are also some nutritional benefits that come from eating the meat and game. For example, fish provides a lot of different vitamins and minerals and things like omega-3 fatty acids. The heads of fish have calcium in them. So these people are able to get all the nutrients that they need from the game that they hunt, as well as the fruits and vegetables that they forage for. There's also a lot of physical activity associated with hunting. It helps them avoid obesity and heart disease and builds community. Now, I wanted to talk briefly about the Western influence on this culture. The first 2 points go together. It is very difficult to ship food all the way up to the Arctic. So the food that we're accommodated to in the United States. So when hunting is not as easily done, people turn to grocery stores. However, it's very expensive to get fresh produce and meat, and it's a lot easier for them to get processed foods because of the price. However, this can lead to an increase in health issues such as type 2 diabetes, heart disease, etc. There have also been hunting restrictions, such as the reputation of sealskin being ruined through activist protest of seal hunting. And because of this, it causes socioeconomic issues for the Inuit people, as that is selling things like sealskin and animal products that they create is a big part of their income. And these hunting restrictions make it very difficult for them to make enough money to support themselves without hunting. There are also some environmental concerns. There are increased temperatures that affect the climate and ecosystem. This is due to global warming. It causes a lot of the animals that they hunt to migrate to survive, for example, muskox and polar bear. And the hunters have to move to follow the prey animals, and this is dangerous and difficult for them to do. Global warming has also led to unpredictable weather, which makes the sea ice hunting more dangerous. It cuts down the hunting season, and it reduces the amount of food that they're able to get. And finally, pollution has also caused a lot of issues for these people. As it is a health and safety hazard, it causes a lot of heavy metals and what they call persistent organic pollutants to occur more commonly in the fish and other sea life and that they consume. And in consuming animals that have these contaminants, it can cause respiratory illnesses, birth defects, and even like cancer. So this is a big problem for these people. This is my works cited page, and I hope you learned a lot from my presentation. Thank you very much.